So we're at the exact spot where I took a really nice photo of Pivo the other week. We're on our way to meet our new friend Douwe. That's a Dutch name, as in Douwe Egbert's coffee. And I'm hoping that this little path, it's like a cycle jogging path, just off the frighteningly huge road. I'm hoping this is going to take us almost to his road, which is where the former wool trade was, because this area is very famous for some sheep, which sadly are no longer here. There's a preservation society for this particular species of sheep, but they ain't here no more. So my local friend, who was a farmer all her life, said that all the sheep farming has moved up north, but there is still in England, there is still a preservation society for the exact species of sheep, but they've probably only got like 50 or 100, and where there's thousands and tens of thousands of them is in New Zealand, of course, because New Zealand and lamb go together, and Lord of the Rings. And here's more of the, so we're miles from home now, but it's the same thing. The trees are all pink spotted for demolition, and here's more free firewood than I could possibly carry one of back home. The other thing that's interesting along this path, when we get near to Douwe's house, is that there's a little enclosed area which is an apiary. So that's apiary, not aviary, so it's bees, not birds. There's like 10 or 12 beehives in a little enclosed area with a sign on it saying, "Keep out, the bees are working." So among other things, I'm hoping that Douwe can introduce me, take me over to knock on the right neighbour's door near him, where the beekeeper lives, because there's nothing better for your immune system than local honey to where you live, and this is pretty local. This is all completely unspoiled. So there's Roman landworks. There's a huge circle and I think a figure. Not sure if it's with or without the giant wang. And there's also a huge new area. I can't remember if it's 2 or 20 acres because I'm not good with numbers and estimation. There's a huge new area that the pharmaceutical super complex where we live has bought and has designated not as farmland but exclusively for what I've been doing, a wildflower pollinator paradise. But they're not doing it for the obvious reason of helping the bees and butterflies and ladybirds and whatnot. They're doing it because they say that this will actually change the soil, the earth, from the very clay way it is now. They're saying that after a few years this will actually terraform everything into a chalk microsystem where different things can thrive. So that's very interesting to me. Following up from I think it was yesterday's video about the lawnmower threatening my front lawn, which I'd asked to be designated to be left alone to be a wildflower paradise for pollinators. I had a slightly frosty letter. Well, no, it wasn't even sent to me. My partner had a slightly frosty letter from not a director, but the housing manager, which completely forbids me from doing anything like that, and says we're going to lawnmower over everything, because apparently scraggy grass and weeds and loads of bald spots, which is what's in every front lawn at the moment, is what she likes, and God forbid any colours and flowers and animals and wildlife and stuff would infringe upon her vision. So that's a little sad. I can't see where I'm holding the camera because I've got my hood up because it's drizzling slightly, but I hope you can see a bit of Pivo, or at least his tail. Yeah. Well, so that's what we're up to now. And I think you can hear it's very loud to me. The large dual carriageway road on the right, which is really quite frightening to walk on. So I've asked our, so when we get there, the first thing we're going to do, apart from take off Pivo's backpack, which has got a blueberry cake I've made for Douwe, aside from taking all that off and unladening myself because I've got my pockets way down with some stuff, we're going to go straight out with his two dogs and have a ramble till dark. And I'm sure he knows this area very well. I don't know how long he's lived here, but he's certainly been here a while. And that should be educational. And get to meet him properly, because we only met very briefly at church on Easter Sunday. So it all seems very civilised. But I'm afraid I've done the uncool thing and asked if he would mind staying sober so he could give us a lift home, because it's an hour walk on that dual carriageway. This is the only bit where you can get off the road onto a nice path. From here back to ours is a couple of miles, I think, or an hour of walking. Right, with all the traffic coming from behind us, because we drive on the left here and we have to walk on the left. There's no pavement on the right. There's a cycle path on the left, which means that every time a truck, every time a truck or lorry or whatever bus goes past, Pivo and I both get pretty badly shook up and scared, because there's no barrier. There's just a tiny grass strip, some of it, and other places there's not even that. I believe what I'm pointing at now, past these few trees here, that the large empty field, I believe that is the new very, very large set-aside wildflower to make chalk experiment. So we'll be reporting on that once things are actually, springing up and flowering. That should be gorgeous for a photo shoot. So we'll be back there. But yeah, look at this road and traffic. So walking 2 feet away from those cars coming from behind us is just really upsetting. Pivo's actually doing it better than I am about it. I mean, I'm more freaked out. But yeah, there is also the possibility to get the bus back, because Pivo's an assistance dog, so he can't be denied access to public transport, thank God. So we could break the bank and spend another £2, and that way Douwe gets to get drunk. I didn't mean that, I'm sorry. I meant to say he might have a light beverage rather than having to be on designated driver mode, which I feel very impolite even suggesting to him. I don't think it's that way, I think it's this way. Pivo, do you know a shortcut? I should probably follow you. You probably know exactly where we're going. Well, I'm going to do it by the book and follow the Google Maps, if that's all right with you. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it the way Google says, all right? Because when have they ever been wrong? All right, okay. See you next time, chaps and lasses. Where are my manners? Ladies and gentlemen is what I meant to say. All right, cheers.